20 signs Camilla's time as queen is ending. And the proof isn't the polls. It's what her own palace staff leaked to the press. The exact playbook they used on Diana before the divorce. Today we're covering behavioral cracks, approval ratings her PR can't fix, and a promise Diana made on live television now coming true word for word. Number 14 is where her inner circle turned. What they leaked tells you the exit's already begun. Number 20, Diana's Panorama prediction lands 30 years later. If you watch Diana be humiliated and left unprotected, the reckoning is here. This isn't speculation, it's a countdown. Let's get right into it. Number 1, she broke down at a farewell and revealed more than she meant to. October 2024, last day of the royal tour in Samoa. At a farewell ceremony in Siumu, Charles told the crowd he hoped to survive long enough to come back. Camilla's composure shattered. Visible tears. Caught on camera. Marie Claire, the Daily Mail, and GB News all captured the moment. A 77-year-old woman watching her husband reference his own mortality while the world looked on. But here's what stood out. Those weren't tears of grief. Those were tears of fear. Because Camilla knows the moment Charles is gone, the title, the home, the staff, the security, all of it falls to Diana's eldest son, and William has never forgotten. Number 2, 40 years of PR and the numbers are worse than ever. YouGov, January 2026, 42% positive. Her lowest number since tracking began. Not a dip, not a blip. A steady downward trend proving the most expensive royal PR campaign in modern history has permanently failed. Think about the investment. Mark Bolland's Operation Mrs. PB, decades of planted stories and friendly broadsheets, carefully staged charity appearances, a complete rebrand from the other woman to the queen. And after all of it, still falling. She peaked, and the peak wasn't even close to liked. Diana didn't need a single PR consultant. The people just loved her. Camilla spent 40 years and millions of pounds trying to manufacture what Diana had naturally. It didn't work. Now here's where it starts getting interesting. Number 3, a minor royal is quietly taking her place. Over the past year, royal watchers caught something the palace hoped nobody would see. The Duchess of Gloucester, a minor royal most people couldn't pick out of a lineup, has shown up at multiple major events where Camilla was expected but absent. State events, diplomatic functions, charity engagements. Each time Camilla canceled, the Duchess stepped in. No fanfare, no announcement, just a seamless swap. The palace doesn't build replacement systems for royals they expect to keep working. They build them for royals they're preparing to phase out. They did it with Philip in his final years. They're doing it with Camilla now. Those were the opening cracks. But hold on, because this next stretch is where it stops being opinion and starts being documented. And number 14, that's where her own staff turned against her. But wait until you hear number 4, because this one has actual numbers behind it. Number 4, the coronation was a PR disaster. They covered up. 64 arrests. Graham Smith, head of Republic, detained for more than 14 hours before he'd even lifted a sign. Hundreds of placards seized. Human Rights Watch called it something you'd expect to see in Moscow, not London. And YouGov found 64% of Britons didn't care about the coronation at all. Dozens of celebration events canceled for lack of interest. This was supposed to be her crowning moment, literally. The event that would transform public perception forever. Instead, the country yawned, protesters were silenced by force, and the international press compared Britain to an autocracy. Diana's funeral had 2 million people lining the streets in tears. They came on their own. Nobody had to organize them. Nobody had to keep them quiet. Camilla's coronation needed armed officers to stop people holding signs, and the next 3 prove the rejection isn't just emotional, it's baked into the numbers. Number 5. 5 outlets used Queen Dowager in the same month. Between late 2024 and mid-2025, 5 major publications, Royal Central, Newsweek, The List, Reader's Digest, and Cosmopolitan, all ran features about Camilla's future as Queen Dowager. Not hypothetically, not years from now. They wrote about it like it's already being planned. When 5 unrelated outlets push the same angle in the same window, that's coordinated messaging. Someone inside the institution decided the public needed to start hearing those words. So when it happens, nobody's surprised. This is exactly how the palace managed the language shift from Lady Diana to Divorce Diana. Slow, deliberate planting across friendly outlets. Camilla's seen this playbook before. She watched them use it on someone else. She knows what it means. The exit story's already being written. All right, these next 2 hit different because they're not about media. They're about the people. Number 6, half the country won't even call her queen. Ipsos, April 2025. Only 23% of Britons want her officially called Queen Camilla. 30% prefer Queen Consort. 15% still want Duchess of Cornwall. And 17% say she should have no title at all. She was crowned in a ceremony broadcast around the world. And 3/4 of the country still won't use the word. The title exists on paper. In the minds of the people she's supposed to serve, it never landed. And it gets worse. Number 7. Nearly half the country says she made no difference. 49% of Britons told Ipsos that Queen Camilla has made no difference to the monarchy. Nearly half the country looked at every engagement, every charity visit, every carefully staged photograph, and said, didn't matter. Compare that to William and Kate. 53% said they made a positive impact. And honestly, this is worse than being hated. Being hated means you made an impression. No difference means you're invisible. Diana changed the world in 16 years. Camilla's been at this for 40, and half the country can't name one thing she's contributed. Diana? She left a legacy so deep they named a children's hospital after her. Those were the numbers. Now let me show you what they actually mean, because this is where the story turns personal. And if any of that surprised you, wait until you hear what happened on the Panorama anniversary. Number 8. Young Britons have already delivered their verdict. Among 18 to 24-year-olds, only 20% view Camilla positively. She's the second most unpopular royal with young people. Only Prince Andrew scores lower. The generation that will shape the monarchy's future has made its call. When William becomes king, that generation won't fight for Camilla. They won't campaign for her to keep a role. They won't even notice when she's gone. And here's what makes it permanent. Young people don't change their minds about royals. Once that verdict's in, it stays. But what came next changed the whole conversation. Number 9, the Panorama anniversary reopened everything. November 2025. 30 years since 23 million people heard Diana say, "There were 3 of us in this marriage." The anniversary triggered a wave of retrospectives, fresh documentaries, and Andy Webb's book, Dianorama. New revelations dragged back into the headlines just when Camilla thought the story had gone quiet. The palace can't bury this anniversary. It returns every 5 years, stronger each time, with new evidence attached. Every retrospective names Camilla. Every documentary replays the footage. Diana's Panorama interview is permanent testimony. It doesn't fade. And every time it resurfaces, Camilla's rehabilitation loses another layer. Diana said she wanted to be queen of people's hearts. Camilla got the crown. But the hearts? Those were never hers to take. We're getting closer to what Camilla's own staff leaked. But this next one is where it stops being gossip and starts being evidence. Number 10. She told the BBC her most painful truth, and nobody cared. December 31st, 2025. BBC Radio 4. Camilla disclosed something she'd never shared publicly. She was attacked on a train as a teenager by a stranger. An extraordinarily personal revelation on the nation's most prestigious radio platform. Her team chose the date, the platform, the framing. They wanted this to anchor her public story before it's too late, to give historians something beyond the other woman. But the response was muted. The coverage dried up in a day. The national conversation never started. When Diana discussed her bulimia on Panorama, the world stopped. Camilla shared her most painful truth, and the country barely looked up. When you can't generate sympathy even with genuine trauma, the problem isn't strategy, it's trust. And Camilla burned through hers decades ago. That covers the evidence. Now here's where it gets constitutional and deeply personal. This one genuinely shocked me. Number 11, William gets to decide her entire future. Title, home, role, all of it. When Charles dies, and with his cancer diagnosis described as incurable but manageable, that reality looms over every palace decision. Camilla's entire position falls to William's discretion. She becomes Queen Dowager, only if William allows it. He decides whether she keeps Clarence House. He decides whether she has any official role at all. Christopher Anderson told Us Weekly that Camilla has always been a little afraid of William. She should be. Every privilege she holds exists because one man is alive. When that changes, power transfers to a man who walked behind his mother's coffin at 15. That isn't security. That's a ticking clock. And the next one is something she'll never be able to fix. Number 12. She can never be called Queen Mother. The Queen Mother held that title for 50 years, one of the most beloved titles in British history. Camilla will never have it. She's William's stepmother, not his mother. She'll be Queen Dowager instead, a title nobody's held since the 1800s. The last Queen Dowager held it for only 12 years before vanishing from public life. Think about what that means. Diana's legacy gave Elizabeth the Queen Mother title through her sons. Camilla gets the historical footnote through those same sons who remember exactly what she did to their mother. And this next one makes the double standard impossible to ignore. Number 13. Diana lost her title. Camilla got one on her wedding day. When Diana divorced Charles in 1996, she lost her HRH. She fought to keep it. She cried over losing it. Andrew Morton documented the devastation. Camilla, she received HRH the day she married Charles in 2005, handed to her on a silver plate by the same palace, the same institution, the same family that stripped Diana of hers. One woman was punished for telling the truth. The other was rewarded for being the reason the marriage fell apart. Remember, this is the boy who was forced to grieve his mother in front of the entire world, while Camilla watched from a safe distance. He's waited almost 3 decades, and now he holds every single card. We're at number 14, the one I promised you at the start, where her own people turned. Number 14, her own palace staff broke ranks. Palace sources have started going on the record against Camilla. Radar Online published a source claiming she can hardly walk. Marie Claire reported an insider calling her a stranger to self-pity, but read between the lines. That's not a compliment. That's exit narrative management. When insiders start shaping a royal's public story, the institution is already planning what comes next. They pulled the exact same move on Diana in the lead-up to 1996. The friendly quotes, the careful framing, unnamed sources painting a picture of someone gracefully stepping back, when in reality, she's being pushed. The difference? Diana didn't see it coming. Camilla recognizes every move because she watched them do it to someone else first, and she still can't stop it. If that felt like a lot, this final stretch is where the walls close in. And number 20? I've been saving that one for last. Number 15. Her last attempt to stay relevant already failed. Reports from August 2025 confirmed Camilla was making a last-ditch effort to stay close to William. She reportedly advised Charles on the Harry reconciliation, positioning herself as a peacemaker who could bridge the family divide. William wasn't buying it. Christopher Anderson confirmed William merely tolerates her. The relationship has always been tense. You don't build 30 years of goodwill in the final stretch. And you especially don't build it by inserting yourself into the one relationship Harry himself says she helped destroy. The lobbying tells you Camilla knows she needs William's protection. The failure tells you something worse. She's never going to get it. Diana never lobbied anyone for relevance. The world gave it to her freely because she earned it with the kind of warmth no PR team on Earth can manufacture. And what William said next, on camera, should send a chill through anyone who thinks he's moved on. Number 16. William told the BBC she was failed. After the Dyson inquiry proved the BBC deceived Diana into the Panorama interview, William released a televised statement from Kensington Palace. His exact words, "She was failed not just by a rogue reporter, but by leaders at the BBC who looked the other way." He called the interview illegitimate, said it should never air again. But listen to what's underneath those words. He's not just talking about the BBC. He's talking about everyone who failed his mother, every institution, every person who looked the other way while Diana suffered. When the future King of England says publicly that his mother was failed, that is not grief. That is a promise. And look at what Camilla's doing right now. Number 17. She's already retreating to Ray Mill House. A friend told The Telegraph that Ray Mill House is the only place where she can literally kick off her shoes. That's Camilla's private estate in Wiltshire. The one property that doesn't belong to the Crown, doesn't depend on Charles, and can't be taken by William. She's spending more time there, quietly, away from London, away from the cameras. A senior royal pulling back toward private life is a royal who knows the clock is running out. Ray Mill isn't a retreat, it's an escape plan. The one place Camilla controls when she controls nothing else. And that's all you need to know about what she expects is coming. Number 18. She could lose Clarence House and end up alone. Multiple sources confirm her residence is not guaranteed when William becomes king. Clarence House, the staff, the cars, the cooks, the security, all of it at William's discretion. The woman who moved into Diana's world could end up leaving it entirely. A polite thank you letter, a car to Wiltshire, and a door that closes behind her for good. The institution doesn't punish with drama, it punishes with silence. Diana learned that the hard way. Now it's Camilla's turn, and even then, it's not over. Number 19. She has zero constitutional power when William is king. A Queen Dowager has exactly zero constitutional authority. She can't attend state functions, can't represent the crown, can't so much as open a hospital wing unless the king specifically invites her. Newsweek confirmed it directly. She could continue charity work or be politely asked to step back entirely. The decision isn't hers. It belongs to the son Diana raised. After 40 years of fighting for this position, Camilla's entire future depends on the goodwill of a man who owes her nothing and forgets none of it. And now, number 20. The one Diana predicted. Number 20. The last Queen Dowager was forgotten within a decade. Her name was Queen Adelaide, wife of King William IV. When her husband died in 1837 and Victoria took the throne, Adelaide was moved out of the palaces, stripped of her platform, and erased from public life. She spent her remaining years in quiet obscurity, died in 1849. Almost nobody remembers her name. 12 years as Queen Dowager, and then she simply vanished from the story. The country moved on. The history books barely gave her a paragraph. Adelaide became a footnote between one reign and the next. And here's the part Diana warned us about. On Panorama 30 years ago, she said she didn't think Camilla would ever be accepted as queen. She said this country would never forgive what happened. The polls prove it. 49% say Camilla made no difference. 20% approval among the young. A country that can't agree on what to call her. A future king who watched his mother's coffin pass at 15 and owes this woman nothing. Diana saw all of this coming, and 30 years later, every word is landing. Diana will be remembered forever, Books, films, museums, documentaries, cultural moments that define generations. Camilla? If history's any guide, she gets 12 years and then silence. The crown she waited 40 years for won't save her legacy. It didn't save Adelaide's, and it won't save hers. 20 signs, every single one documented. Diana will be remembered for centuries. Camilla gets the Adelaide ending. If you believe William remembers what they did to his mother, share this with someone who watched that funeral. And if you want to see exactly what Camilla stands to lose the day William takes the throne, that video is right here.